Nagy, these next 2 weeks are big for you specifically because college, me, Zach, and Ryan blow. You're negative right now, and if you stay negative, no one wins, right? So if you can somehow get to positive, you will win. Like you're the only one who has a chance of winning. It's like
Yeah,
we are.
we did establish that last year, so I just kind of assumed we were doing the same thing this year. I know we haven't talked about it too much this year, but for anyone
Yeah,
that didn't follow our picks last year, one of the stipulations is the winner must finish positive units to
and
to win the prize.
and like you're the only. So like you're in a good spot at least because like you. So it's $50 per person. Is that what we decided on, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So like if you win, you win $150. The odds of you having to like first off, the odds of someone other than you being positive is like maybe below 1%. And the odds of like you having two shitty weeks and them passing you also is even close. So like even if you don't win, at least you're not like you have to sit pretty knowing that you don't have to do anything. But yeah, I mean we have been this is gonna be the
I'm negative
college
20.
show. This is gonna be the college show,
I
but
do have my card picked out, and what am I? I'm only positive like one.
You're
right
negative.
now you're negative 0.27
Okay.
units.
So I'm not gonna push out and do like 2 or 3 picks a week. That's so boring. I already have my
Integrity.
card
You
set.
have to average 8 picks throughout the year anyways to qualify.
I think he's well.
I'm probably
above that.
there,
Everyone's qualified right now.
but regardless if I was way over, I'd still do at least 6, 7, 8 picks a week. That's not a way to win. But anyway,
Yeah, been averaging 9 picks a week.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
did
a
start
little over
recording.
9. Yeah,
We were
yeah.
just
I mean,
we were just talking
we're
about
discussing all this. So
we're just talking about rivalry week. Fuck. A little bit. Zach unfortunately hit a 3-loss do or die in college over the past weekend. So we were planning on doing sour cream in the coffee. But
But-
Zach,
but you and Ryan did this when we hit 1K
Yeah.
subs. So like
Yeah.
you guys have to do this.
I'm waiting for Ryan to actually be on a fucking episode so we can
Ryan's
do it.
never coming back. This
He's
is
such
why
a-
he's doing it.
He's such a
So-
pussy. He doesn't want to
so-
talk about Notre Dame either.
Well, I
Notre Dame
mean,
been good of late.
Yeah, but still a
This would be-
disappointing season.
honestly, looking back at it right now, like it is kind of a disappointing season considering that like they should be 10-1.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
their two losses are like the two worst teams they played this year. Like
They-
no
Dude,
joke, the two.
They said the Stanford loss is the worst loss in college football this year.
They'd be
I
what,
bet-
5 or 6 right now if their only loss
They'd be
was Ohio
5,
State?
easily 5.
Yeah.
Because with Tennessee getting like the only team this whole time that like I thought would have a chance of like being ahead of Notre Dame would be Tennessee, and
Yeah.
Tennessee rightfully so. Tennessee just got shit pumped and have 2 losses. Notre Dame would be the 5th ranked team, like, and no one would be close to them. And then they beat USC, like, oh my god, like yeah, like Notre Dame. It is kind of a disappointing season in that sense, but
At least
you can-
Marshall's not going to go to a bowl game. Stanford's fucking 3-8. Like Stanford is
yeah.
bad.
So bad.
Marshall's pretty bad too, though. Like, it'd be one thing if Marshall was like the first in the Sun Belt.
Yeah.
Like, they're like 4th or 5th too. Which, I honestly, do they have 7 wins or 6 wins?
So they're 7-4 going into this week.
Okay, I was gonna say if they had 6 wins, that Notre Dame game might have been the difference of if they went to a bowl game or not. But 7 wins. But
It doesn't. Wait, one more thing on that. It really shouldn't make a difference because they're so inferior to Notre Dame in terms of talent. But the fact that Notre Dame lost both of those games at home makes it.
yeah,
It's like you're given
Awful.
every opportunity right there.
yeah. But even like to the point of like Stanford being worse, like Notre Dame, like it was right after Ohio State, right? Like when you lose that first game, Marcus Freeman's big year, like it does kind of like put a little damper on the year kind of thing. But like Stanford was just like the difference between those two games also, Marshall was beating Notre Dame like the whole game, like controlling, beating them, everything.
Oh yeah.
Stanford, they had the ball leading, and then they also had the ball down, whatever, and Estime fumbled going on the 20-yard line to take the lead. So they had multiple chances to win that game. But last week, I said, switching to the Big Ten, Iowa, I mean, this is why
They're gonna
Kirk
play.
Ferentz,
They're
they're
gonna
gonna
play
play
in it.
in they're gonna play in it. And that's fucking ridiculous. And this is like the worst thing I think for Iowa fans. I don't know if any person watches shows an Iowa fan, but the worst thing for Iowa fans is them winning the Big Ten West because Kirk Ferentz can be like, even in our worst year, we still won the Big Ten West, this, and that. It's like, imagine how good they could be if he fired his son, though. Like, they could actually be like way better.
His son
And
is
so bad. And little tidbit on that game, though, Minnesota, Iowa. First, PJ Fleck sucks. But secondly, that was the first college football game, maybe ever, I thought I saw, that did not have one penalty in the entire game.
Really?
Not one penalty.
What was the weather like? I didn't watch any of it.
It wasn't snowing, but it was cold. It was definitely
Okay.
very cold, but it was not snowing or anything.
Not that should make a difference. No penalties is fucking wild, regardless.
Yeah, like
of the
you'd think
weather.
one guy would get a holding call at some point. And then, I mean, what else happened? Tennessee got their shit pumped. Like, dude, holy fuck. That might be one of the most.
That's up there with Notre Dame, Stanford.
Yeah, but the way that they got beat is even worse.
Yeah.
That's more like well, Miami ended up being good or like okay, but like South Carolina might finish 7-5 and they scored 60 whatever points. Like that was just a shit pumping. But Hendon Hooker, that sucks to see. He's having a really good year. Tennessee's out of it though. And USC survive and advance. I mean, all you can ask for. I don't know if you guys watched that game, but Dorian Thompson Robinson is the UCLA quarterback, and yeah. Well, so they had the lead 20-14, I believe it was, or no, maybe it was 17-13. I think they were up 4, and there was like a minute and a half left. Chip Kelly's like, we're going to take our shots. He throws a pick. USC gets in field goal range. The guy misses the field goal. There's 37 seconds left. Chip Kelly's like, we're going to take our shots again. Throws another. He had 2 interceptions within a minute span. And then USC got a field goal. Kind of changed momentum of the game. Like USC got a field goal before half when like UCLA could have, or they could have just went at half like UCLA kind of take control of the first half. But Caleb Williams did his thing. USC's defense still fucking sucks. But I was looking at this stat. USC hasn't played a top 50 pass defense all year.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty absurd.
Yeah, it's pretty
impossible.
I know. And I might be.
Oh, that bad.
It might be. I thought it was everyone, but maybe they took. Because I don't think Utah's defense is that good this year, really, either, though. But, I mean, their last 5 games, like the pass defenses were like 98th, 72nd, 116th, 121st. Like it was like the worst of the worst pass defenses. So,
I mean, Caleb Williams will probably be the first quarterback off the board next year.
Yeah, he has to come back. He has to come back 1 year. Yeah, him or Drake May, but yeah,
that's right. Drake May.
So probably the Bucks or.
The Bucks.
Not the Bucks.
The
Sorry.
Bucks.
I was like, what?
I'm at the Panthers.
Yeah.
Or
the Texans will get a quarterback this year.
Yeah,
so.
That's what I'm thinking too. I think the Panthers might trade down and wait for next year and tank again.
Are the Panthers the number 2 pick right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are they? I thought the Texans were.
No, Texans 1, Panthers 2, then Bears 3 right now.
Yeah, the Steelers keep. This is an NFL show, but Steelers keep fucking up and like winning every third game for no fucking reason. But all right, so this week is champ week, or not champ week, rivalry week, and some massive games, right? So Michigan, Ohio State obviously is the big one. USC Notre Dame is a massive game, and in my opinion, in like multiple ways, right? Because if Notre Dame's somehow able to beat USC, 1, that knocks USC out of the playoffs. 2, if Clemson can win out, helps Clemson's resume. 3, if somehow Michigan beats Ohio State, once again helps Ohio State's resume and knocks another team that Ohio State doesn't have to jump. It also kind of helps TCU in a way because then USC is not knocking on the door. So like I think there's a lot of people who are going to be cheering for Notre Dame this weekend, and then Michigan, Ohio State. I think Michigan, if they lose, they're probably out unless everyone else loses. But their non-conference schedules are so bad.
You really think they could put like any of the one-loss teams over 13-0 TCU?
No, I don't.
I don't think so.
I think if TCU wins out, they're in no matter what.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Like there was discrepancy like Cincinnati just because like non-Power 5, but if you're a Power 5, you go undefeated.
Yeah.
Which we won't have to worry about next, like going forward, thankfully. But
I also don't think we've had a year where this many top teams lose. Like, Tennessee was on the door knocking, right? They had good wins. They had like a loss to the number one team, but they've lost twice now. So like you throw them out, like there's so many teams I think that have just lost to a point where like they're able to not have to make these decisions. I actually think if TCU wins this weekend and loses in the Big 12 championship, if like Notre Dame's able to beat USC, like TCU, I still think has a chance of getting in.
Well, dude, did you guys watch the ending? You guys were tailgating, or you were busy, dude.
Which game?
The way TCU won that game.
I saw the clip.
That game.
But, yeah.
I watched the end of the game.
They ran the ball and then just hurried their team out there. I mean, that is so ballsy.
It is so ballsy.
It also didn't really make sense because it's like you did all of that.
To do that.
Well, like you only gained 1 or 2 yards, and that could have like the risk reward. Yeah, the risk reward was not there in my opinion.
No.
Like you gained 2 yards, he could have fumbled, could have got a holding call, could have had this. For what reason?
Or imagine a guy when you're running off the field like gets hurt,
trips, false start, kicker isn't set, kicking like there's so many different things that like it obviously worked out, but yeah, I agree. I did not understand that like at all. When they ran it at first, I thought they had a timeout, and then when they didn't, I was like, wait, why would you do that?
They had 14 seconds to get their whole kick team on the field and kick it and make it.
Speaking of close games too, that Michigan missed offensive pass interference.
So bad. He was blocking.
He wasn't blocking. He was 7 yards down the field.
Yeah, he was literally – he just took the guy and blocked him.
Like, and the pass was 4 yards past the line of scrimmage. Like, I don't know how – like, there are, like, a lot of times where it's like you don't want the refs making a big call in late games, right? But that's just one – yeah, that's just one that's like so blatant and like crazy.
It changed the game.
Yeah, I mean that's the only reason why they won. It was fourth down. Illinois would have been able to. They would have been able to run the clock out.
Have they said yet if Blake Corum's out yet?
One of their linemen, like, I don't think he was supposed to say it, but said he's not playing. He's like, everyone's going to step up with Blake out this weekend, and everyone's like, he hasn't been ruled out yet. Like. So I don't think he is, and it sounds like if he's not able to go like full go Thursday, Harbaugh told him he wasn't. I guess I read this report that he was hurt going into the Illinois game.
Oh.
And then it hurt it worse. So like at best, he's like 70% if he plays this weekend. And like you kind of need Blake Corum to like have his Heisman moment, I think, for them to beat them, right? Like
absolutely.
I think Michigan had like 3 good running backs last year, and also like their line was so dominant, and it was at home, and it was like a perfect like Ohio State kind of got their shit pumped. Where like I don't think they're gonna be like that this year. So like it's gonna be way harder for them to control it like they did last year. And then if you take Blake Corum out of the equation, it'll be interesting. And Harbaugh doesn't seem as confident. Like last year, he's calling Ryan Day the third base coach and like all that stuff. And then this year, he's like taking back his comment. Like he's a little different in his approach this year.
Yeah.
As far as Ohio State's running back, every time it's like, oh, they need to get healthy. They just have like a new guy rush for 300 yards.
That was a fucking stud.
Yeah. So I don't even know if they have to get healthy. They just have to like have someone play.
They have so many guys that can just plug and play. It's insane.
Right. So this will be a huge game for JJ McCarthy, I think. He took the starting job over after a guy took you to the playoffs, which is like unheard of. But like, I think everyone agreed that JJ should have been the starter. But like, this game's going to fall in his hands. So it's like, this is where he has to prove why they made the move to make him the starter.
Yeah.
But
Their
then
defense, I think, is going to help them a lot, keeping them in that game too.
yeah, but then again, Ohio State's offense is probably better this year than it was last year, just solely on the fact that like Stroud's better.
Is Jackson playing or not?
I'm not sure. I don't know if that like I think their biggest difference is Stroud is just a year removed or a year ahead and like way more mature this year. Like
also Marvin Harrison Jr. last year compared to this year is night and day.
Yeah, he's like the best receiver in football. So yeah, that game will be interesting. That'll be a great game, noon kickoff. I will be there. But then so you got Clemson, South Carolina is now an interesting game, right? If South Carolina can beat Clemson, that obviously knocks them out of the playoffs, and that's like a huge thing for a lot of different teams. Clemson can win. Like you're looking at a South Carolina team that's 7-5. That's like a decent win, though. You know what I mean? Like it's not a bad win when you're comparing resumes. And Clemson's 2 of their 4 non-conference games are Notre Dame and South Carolina. That's a pretty good non-conference schedule. Like, so they have that argument. So Clemson obviously needs to win out to get in. But that'll be an interesting game. And then, yeah, we already talked about USC Notre Dame. Like, there's some interesting, huge games this weekend. But last night, big news popped out. Nothing's been official, but Lane Kiffin might be heading to Auburn.
Dude, him trolling I was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, but if he goes, he's like the biggest cocksucker to ever walk this earth. Like,
just like frying the newscaster.
Like if he goes,
yeah,
no one should respect him anymore. Like no joke.
I agree with that.
But the newscaster was from Mississippi, so he wouldn't give a fuck anyways, right?
What if Lane goes?
If he was going to Auburn, like it's not like he burned any bridges or anything because he's
right. No, it'd be more of him to just be like, fuck off. Like,
yeah,
I was right. You try to make me look like shit and like, fuck
that's
off.
probably going to help the reporter in the long run.
Yeah.
You see I think it was on Reddit. The former like director of player personnel is now like he works like a dealership. Like how he's if Lane leaves.
Yeah, he's like saying I'll expose all this stuff. But then he deleted his tweets, which makes me think like someone probably talked to him and like, hey, if you expose this, we're exposing you. And why are you at a car dealership right now? Yeah, why don't we keep our mouth shut, buddy? Like that's what that sounded like when he deleted, because he was super confident at first. I did see that.
Yeah.
But supposedly, now this is like, I always feel like, especially college, there's nothing like college football. Literally nothing. In terms of coaches, everything, there's nothing like it. Auburn's going to give him $10 million, right? So, like Lane's probably like, yes. I also think, in a sense, Ole Miss might have hit their ceiling this year. Like
they played pretty well against Alabama.
They were really good. And you have these traditional powerhouses getting better. Ole Miss will never be better than Alabama. Ole Miss will never be better than Tennessee at Tennessee's best. Ole Miss will never be better than Georgia at Georgia's best. Ole Miss will never be better than Florida at Florida's best. Like Ole Miss, when you look at it in that way, they're like 7th or 8th in the SEC. Auburn at its best, even during Bama heydays, has won national titles. So it's like,
baby,
huh?
Wasn't Gene Chizik?
Yeah. And then Malzahn was able to take him to a title, and they should have won that game. So, like, they've been able to have success. So, if you want to look at it in terms of that, like, okay, yes. But they say Kiffin – I mean, the way that they played Saturday makes me think he's going now.
Yeah.
Like, that was the worst, most unprepared team I've ever seen ever. Like, they got their ass kicked.
Yeah.
But he wanted to finish out the season, supposedly, so he's going to coach Thursday, announce it Friday. Supposedly, Mike Leach is retiring Friday
after the game.
I didn't hear about that.
Dan Mullen coming back to Mississippi State.
Whoa.
That would be something.
But the guy who reported the thing about Kiffin also called the Mississippi State AD leaving to go to Auburn.
Oh.
And he was corrected like a week and a half before anyone else. And it was kind of the same. Obviously, ADs no one cares about as much. But like it was the same thing where like everyone was like talking shit to him, like, oh, there's no way you know this, and like that kind of thing. So
also, this is SEC related. The fact that Florida lost to Vanderbilt is so bad.
Vandy, back-to-back wins.
They're playing what? They're playing well. I actually got to watch that a little bit.
Holy shit, Florida.
Who does Vandy play this week? Tennessee. They play Tennessee, which sucks.
They could win that game with fucking Hendon Hooker.
But they're 5-6. If they somehow won, they'd be bowl eligible.
I mean, shout out to Clark Lee for going back to his alma mater, because when he took that job, I was like, what are you doing, dude?
Dude, they're not bad.
It's impressive how Clark Lee's gotten them.
They could win the Big Ten West.
Honestly, probably. Big Ten
probably.
West.
Did you know the team that's going to finish last in the Big 12 beat the team that's going to the Big Ten championship?
Yes, I did.
It's like whenever anyone wants to tell me like, oh, the Big Ten's so deep. No, they're fucking not. They have 2 teams. All right, that's it. But, yeah, I mean, actually, though, Purdue does still have a chance. If somehow Nebraska upsets Iowa, which would be like the funniest thing ever, but it's at Iowa, so I don't think that's going to happen. But if Nebraska beats Iowa and Purdue beats IU, which honestly, IU looked good last weekend.
I know that game was so fucked. I did watch.
Neither team deserved to win.
No, the field goal. The 2 seconds left on the clock. I was live texting you.
That was so bad.
The Michigan State kicker, like, it was windy. It was definitely windy, but like it was never on target. 22 yards.
Dude,
22 yards.
Dude, the Michigan State fan in the background felt like one of the guys just looked so defeated when he.
Dude, they kept showing the same like 6 or 7 shirtless Michigan State fans, and you could just see the fucking roller coaster all 4 quarters. It was neither team. I agree though. Neither team deserved to win.
Well, what was hilarious about that game, and for anyone like Nagy went to IU, that's why we're speaking about them. We speak about them every week, so like we're not like
they beat Illinois.
They did beat
Illinois.
And that's the difference of why they're not going to the Big Ten championship game right now. But when Michigan State lined up, 22-yard field goal, I was like, okay, I know weather's probably bad, but I've seen guys kick 45-yarders in snow, 22-yarder, that's a high school kick. Misses. Then he starts overtime with a miss, and I'm like, oh my God, IU's going to win.
And then IU misses a field goal. It was so crazy. It was just like a perfect culmination of the shittiest teams in the Big Ten East. It was just really, really fucking bad.
What's even funnier is I honestly think that's going to keep Michigan State from making a bowl game. That loss.
Oh, yeah.
I think they would have. So they get to play. They play at Penn State. They're 5-6 right now. They would be 6-5 going to Penn State.
Yeah.
The IU game might be the difference of them making a bowl game or not.
Spoilers,
which is hilarious.
baby. Spoilers.
But that's what I was just about to say. So IU can play spoiler. So Nebraska plays Iowa Friday. How hilarious would it be if Nebraska won? And then and Purdue fans are all ready for the Big Ten title game, and IU beats Purdue. I that would be hilarious to me. Hilarious.
I just don't know. IU just can't do shit like that back-to-back weeks. That's why it took from week 1 to fucking week 12 for them to actually play a halfway decent game.
Was that IU's 4th win?
Yeah, because the other 2 games they won were against small
Western
schools.
Kentucky and Idaho, which they almost lost both.
Yes, they did almost lose both. And right after, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this on the podcast, but I definitely mentioned it to my IU friends. After we started 3-0, I said, there's a very good chance we don't win another game the rest of the season.
No, you said that on this one because I was like, you got to be happy you're 3-0. And you're like, yeah, we should have lost to Western Kentucky. We won in overtime. Yeah.
And that we didn't deserve the Illinois game regardless. They took away the touchdown.
Yeah.
Gifted.
That was crazy.
It might save Tom Allen. Like, as crazy as it sounds.
if he beats Purdue,
no question he's staying.
100%, yeah.
But that win last week at least makes it like
That's
a
true.
conversation.
Well, yeah, because then it's like, see, we're building, like we're young right now. You have that
The
conversation
quarterback
going
is
on.
totally dog shit.
Yeah. So like that could still save him, but like if they somehow beat Purdue, he's 100% there. All right.
The quarterback is totally dog.
No, he is really bad.
We're 12 weeks in, and I can still barely pronounce his name right. There's just no shining moments that make me want to make room in my head to remember how to pronounce his goddamn name.
Did IU? Oh, okay. They had a kick return for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Did they have a defensive touchdown?
I think they recovered 2 turnovers.
How did this game? Listen to these stats.
I have the under.
Michigan State controlled the time of possession 37 minutes to 23 minutes. Michigan State had 540 yards of offense. IU had 288. Michigan State only had 1 turnover. Michigan State ran 90 plays. IU ran 51. IU threw the ball 7 times in the entire game.
Yeah. One of the turnovers was in the red zone. So one of our scoring drives was like 20, 21 yards.
Oh, my God. That is crazy. Well, you had 288 yards. Your running back had 79 on 1 play.
It still had 31 points in regulation. Like, it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. That's crazy. That's hilarious. It was 24-7 at half, too. Wow.
Yeah. It's the first time since 2003 that IU has been down 17 or more at halftime and come back to win the game. Since 2003. Almost 20 fucking years, like 0 comebacks.
Football school.
Yeah.
All right, we ready for our picks?
Yeah, let's get to picks. Real quick, want to thank our sponsor of DGen Central Podcast, BetUS. They have great. Whoa, you okay there?
I'm dying. No.
Okay.
I fucking choke over here.
He's excited about how great the sign-on bonuses are with BetUS. Sign on today. First-time users get 100% sign-on bonus when they deposit cash, and they get up to 200% add-on when you deposit with cryptocurrency. So you put $100 worth of Bitcoin, BetUS will give you $200 worth of credit to go and win some cash. So our affiliate link is in the description of this video. While you're down there, like the video, subscribe. We just got to 1,000 subscribers as we were talking about the beginning of the video. Hopefully Ryan isn't a bitch and comes on for championship week so we can fulfill our promise, sour cream in the coffee. And next week, Zach will be doing his do or die punishment. So
wait, what?
I mean, never mind. Zach.
So Zach is giving. Well, he's sending everyone $10, which
Zach,
is like.
I was like, did I get punished again?
No, you're right. I totally forgot. I was scripting in my head. But Zach, instead of doing punishment, he was going to do the sour cream and coffee tonight. But he has basketball and doesn't want to shit himself. So he Venmoed us all $10 each, which very commendable. That's certainly a fair trade-off. I probably would take 5, but I'll take 10 too.
All right,
it's too late. Okay, so our picks this week.
College football only send you $45.
This is a huge week for Matthew, boys.
Yes, sir. So as we mentioned,
why don't you lead us off?
Yeah, so as we mentioned at the beginning, the winner of our challenge, you can follow on at Victory Lap Bets. The winner of our college football challenge and the NFL have to finish positive units. I'm negative like half a unit or something right now, -1, something like that.
0.27.
0.27. We have a minimum average plays for the season. I'm over the average of like 8 plays a week. Not stopping now. Going to keep the train rolling. I don't know shit about college football. This is a miraculous run for me through 12 weeks. And it'll probably all go to shit this week because it's rivalry week. And the lines are just so pro'd out. And it's so hard to fucking handicap any of this at this point of the season. So we are going with the Lane Kiffins. What'd you call them, Michael?
The Fighting Lane Kiffins.
Yeah, we're going with the Fighting Lane Kiffins. -2.5. We're going UNC -6.5. Missouri taking on the Razorbacks at home +3. Kansas State, we're going over 62.5. And I'm fading my Hoosiers. I just don't see them having any sort of good game back-to-back weeks. And Purdue's playing for a chance to go to the Big Ten championship. So taking Purdue minus the 10.5. Louisville +3. USC, I'm taking USC at home against the Irish minus 5.5. And Ohio State minus the 7.5 against Michigan. I feel like 75-80% of the money is going to be on Michigan plus the points here. So I'm happy to take Ohio State. And then my do or die.
What's crazy about that game is like a few weeks ago when Michigan was looking really good, the line was like 4.5. And then it jumped after last weekend. I think Michigan hasn't actually looked that great the past 2 weekends, but yeah. All right. You want me to go?
Sure.
Or you can go, don't matter to me.
All right. I will be betting the Mississippi game. I just don't know who I'm taking right now. Like, if Lane Kiffin is staying at Mississippi, I feel like this will be such a fuck you and they'll win by 30.
That's why I was thinking too.
If he loses, it's like Mississippi State money line is the easiest bet in the if he's leaving, Mississippi State money line is the easiest bet in the world. So I will be betting, but I will tweet that pick. I'm gonna ride with you. North Carolina minus 6.5. I think NC State kind of just sucks, honestly, and North Carolina,
They lost last week to Louisville.
Yeah, and it wasn't really that close. I'm gonna go Central Michigan. No, fuck that. They suck. Their quarterback's terrible. Arizona minus 4.5 against Arizona State. Where's the other one I was going
to? How'd you just pivot off of Central Michigan to Arizona?
Well, that's like right next to each other. But Central Michigan, I watched Central Michigan last week, and their quarterbacks are. I keep thinking they have the same quarterback as last year, and they don't. And I keep taking them, and they keep losing. So
you love the action.
I need to stop.
I respect the hell out of the action.
All right, Cincinnati at home -2 against Tulane. Cincinnati money line -130. Whoever wins that game is going to the American Championship game and have a chance to go to a New Year's 6 at home. I think Cincinnati comes out with that game. I'm going to take Oregon State +3, Oregon State money line +130. I am going to take that Kansas line's big. Wake Forest -3.5. South Carolina +14. I know that's probably they're gonna lose by 100 now that everyone's probably betting that though. Kentucky -3 against Louisville. Why is App State favored?
Fuck them. Every week I take them, they lose.
Same here, and then I don't take them. Minnesota +3.5 at Wisconsin. Minnesota money line +145.
He's going for it.
I'm gonna ride with you. I know I got it, but Wisconsin sucks. They won one game against Northwestern, baptized their coach and thought oh yeah, let's hire this guy. Ohio State -7.5. I agree with you on that. I think everyone's gonna be on Michigan. Notre Dame +5.5. Notre Dame money line +165. Washington -2.5. Washington money line -125. IU could have had fucking Michael Penix this year, and they have a quarterback where they throw fucking 7 times. Morons.
Won the game.
Morons. Oklahoma -2.5. I think maybe they hit their stride a little bit. See, some of these lines are just
90 seconds.
Okay, Zach, just go. Just go, Zach.
All right, they're playing right now, but I got Ball State +2.5, Ole Miss -2.5. The Fighting.
Add Ball State to mine.
All right, just text me it. Texas -9, Iowa -10.5 to go to the Big Ten title.
Texas is -8.
Oh, they're -8. Okay, bet.
Yep.
Ohio State -7.5. So I think we all have that. Washington -2.5, Oregon -3, and then I have my do or die. So I'm gonna say it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Florida State -9.5.
What was it?
Florida State -9.5.
All right. What about you, Michael?
Arkansas -3.
Oh, okay. Mine is Texas under. The Texas under 56.5. Fuck that game. It's going to be a snooze fest. All right. Thanks again for tuning in. If you want to watch our NFL prediction show for Week 12, that's going to be posted too. Again, like, subscribe, use the affiliate link code if you want to sign up. Make a BetUS account today. Thanks for joining. Catch you next time. Good luck and peace.